Hi Aquarius and Aquarius Rising, here is your astrology overview for the year of 2026. I'm astrologer Joseph Anthony. This is a tremendous year for many of you. So if you're an Aquarius Rising or Aquarius Sun sign, this is going to be a very important year. And this has a lot to do with your thinking. This has a lot to do with your partnerships. And on top of that, the solar eclipse in February is going to be in Aquarius. So you're going to be reinventing your entire personality, your appearance, how others see you. So this is a very, very important year. Not only that, at the end of July, the North Node will be switching signs and we'll be going into Aquarius as well. So there's going to be tremendous amounts of opportunity for you guys to change in some way. Now, just keep in mind that this is a very general overview based on Western tropical astrology using the whole house system. This is the sun sign method, but it also could be used for the ascendant or rising sign. And again, this is very basic because we zero out everything at 0 degrees and equal out the houses. Meanwhile, your birth chart has your exact time and date and place of birth, which will be a little bit more accurate than this because you have different alignments, you have different birthdays. And so everything is going to be much more accurate in your actual birth chart. So keep that in mind. This is just a sort of a baseline, a guide to help you understand some of the trends that we're seeing as astrologers. All right, so let's dive in and I'll tell you a little bit more about the aspects that are going on. I have a bunch of slides. I won't be going over charts in this video. I will be doing that in my inner circle community, so consider joining. I left a link down below. And there we talk a lot more freely and I could go much deeper. And some members actually do send me their charts and I do go over some things in their charts with them. I answer a few questions. I don't do personal readings anymore, but I do answer some questions based on their actual birth chart. So anyway, let's dive in and let me explain why this is such an important year for you guys. So one of the reasons is obviously Pluto has entered Aquarius, will stay in Aquarius for many, many years. And we have other alignments that are taking place this year in 2026 that are going to be very profound for many of you. And some of these involve the planet Saturn, the planet Neptune, and Uranus. These are major indicators when we see massive changes that are going on. Okay, so let's get going here and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So first, let's look at January 26th, Neptune enters Aries. Now, Neptune has already entered Aries in 2025. I just touched upon it. And so did Saturn. But notice Saturn will go back into Aries on the 13th. And both of these will be in a conjunction alignment on February the 20th. So what does this mean for you guys? It's going to occur in your third house of communication and ideas. So this has a lot to do with your brain power and wanting to initiate new things and looking at the world in a different way, taking more of your power back in the sense that Aries represents the self. So you're going to be more involved in self-interest and self-promotion, expressing yourself a lot more around coworkers and people in your life. The creativity will absolutely jump up tremendously in the coming years. Now, both Neptune and Saturn are going to stay in this third house for many years to come, anywhere between 10 and 14 years. No, actually, about 7 to 14 years. Neptune will be there about 13 to 14 years. Saturn will move out in about 2.5 years. So all this energy that that's coming in that third house is going to light up your mind and your need for self-expression. So this is how we start off the year. Okay, January and February. But February is a huge month for you guys, not just because the sun is going through Aquarius, but because here is the eclipse, a solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius. This is going to affect all Aquarians, especially when it's closer to that degree that the Aquarius full moon is going to be. It's going to be at the later end of Aquarius. And so this is about reinventing yourself, reinventing how others see you, changing your personality, changing your appearance, getting more attention and being in the spotlight a lot more. And this is all throughout the year because eclipses can last up to a year to manifest. They're not normal full moon, new moons or full moons. Eclipses are much more powerful than that. And so we have this one on the 17th, but there's so much more in February. Okay, so depending on where this lands in your actual birth chart, in this general overview, it's in the first house of identity and self and motivation. So this continues the need to move around, to express yourself, to figure things out, and to just push forward with your plans and ideas. So we're seeing very strong energy at the beginning of the year. Then on the 20th, we have the conjunction, the exact conjunction between Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees. And this, again, is in the third house of ideas and creativity. I want you to pay attention in February because you're going to be getting so many thoughts and visions about the future. So much information is going to be coming in, either related to your job, your responsibilities, creative endeavors. You might even take up art or become more artistic in some way because Neptune is very artistic. And Saturn is the great creator. In other words, it brings your imagination down to reality. And so this is all going to occur in the third house. So talk about psychic ability, talk about manifesting something out of your subconscious, talk about expressing yourself, something that you've always wanted to do or share. This is going to be a very important time. Okay, so between the eclipse on the 17th and then the 20th, the energy is very powerful, all right? But then towards the end of the month, things start to change a little bit, and this is because of the retrogrades. There's the first retrograde of the year is February the 26th through March the 20th. And retrograde just means going back, going within. And it's going to be in Pisces. The first one of the year will be in Pisces. That's your second house of income and values. So you're going to be really questioning everything. You know, am I making enough money? What do I really value? Is this what I really believe? You know, do I need to change my beliefs? I need to get rid of some ideas that are not working for me anymore. And you'll be revisiting the past, either with regards to financial matters or the material side of life, or just in generally questioning your interaction with many other people in your life. So this is going to be a very important time. Okay, here you see the rest of the Mercury retrogrades. The other one is in Cancer, and July is going to be a very big month. And this is going to be part of, I believe, your 6th house. Yeah, this will be in your 6th house of work and service. So once again, you're questioning whether you're going in the right direction with that endeavor that you're involved in, or maybe your home life and you're reconsidering a possible move or remodeling of some kind. And then the other one also, when we have Venus retrograde around this period of time, this one, Scorpio, is going to be again in the top part of your chart that has to do with the 10th house of career. So basically all of these all of these Mercury retrogrades this year are going to affect things pertaining to your money, values, and your foundation. So this is where it gets a little tricky at the end of February into March. Now, why March? Because there's also something else occurring at the end of February that you need to pay attention to. Mars is going to be in Aquarius, your sign, squaring Uranus, your ruler, in the 4th house in Taurus. So this suggests some sort of disruption in the home life, some sort of change to the home life. This could be anything from you remodeling your house, you changing your job, you getting into a conflict with a family member, or something happening to a family member, or sudden changes in the house, sudden disruptions. Because Mars and Uranus are both the planets that represent sudden disruption. Or maybe you may have some amazing insights to something. You know, the premonition will be really strong. Oh my God, this is happening. This is going to happen. You know, that kind of stuff. So you need to pay attention. Again, depending on where it falls in your chart, this could be quite the eye-opening experience. But when we get into March the 3rd, we have the first lunar eclipse. Now, lunar eclipses are different from solar eclipses. They symbolically represent an ending, a completion, a realization. And so for many of you guys, this falls in your 8th house of deep psychological transformation. So this could have something to do with investments, money matters. It's the house of death and rebirth. And maybe you are totally reinventing yourself. Maybe somebody close to you is no longer in your life, or, moves on. Or maybe there's some health matters, psychological or physical, in yourself or someone else, because the sign of Virgo rules health. And so this is what I'm seeing here as a general theme. Again, your birth chart will be more accurate. So this is what I'm seeing in March. March is about other people and psychological well-being and financial matters. And it'll stay that way until about the 21st of March, when the sun enters Aries. And now you're back to thinking and processing and moving forward. But when we get into April, April is a huge month, again, because of this. There are going to be 6 planets aligning in the sign of Aries, and that again is your 3rd house. believe me, this year your mind is going to be even more so on overload than it already is. And so this is about drive, determination, will, moving forward, moving beyond challenges. This will be you taking charge. So you are going to be very motivated to take charge of your life and to go in a new direction. So this is going to be very powerful. Now, at the end of April, we have Uranus returning to Gemini, another air sign like yours, and this has to do with the 5th house of creativity. So you could see here the first 5 months of the year, first 4 to 5 months of the year, lots of creativity, lots of self-expression, not taking any crap from anyone. You're in a very aggressive sort of take charge mindset as we begin the year. So this could be fantastic if you play your cards right and you take action in the direction that you need to. This could be very positive energy. And Uranus will stay here for about 7 years in that 5th house, helping with the creativity. But then when we get into June, there's nothing a whole lot going on in May except dealing with family dynamics. But when we get into June, the dynamics change even more. This has to do with health. This has to do with your job. But here, Jupiter enters Leo. This is a very positive alignment for Aquarius and Aquarius rising because it activates that 7th house of other people. So this is all about partnerships. This is all about relationships. This is all about connections with others. So for the year ahead, from 2026 to 2027, there is tremendous amounts of energy favoring you guys to take advantage of opportunities that involve other people. So this could be a very monumental time for many of you where you're embracing, other people's mindsets, creative projects, and just having more fun and being more playful. Leo is very playful. But when we get into July, July is a tremendous amount of energy here. And you can see here from all these alignments, which involve either Aries, Aquarius, or Leo. So after Leo enters, it's going to be opposing Pluto. This is the most troublesome aspect throughout July, but this is a big one. Jupiter and Pluto opposing each other usually causes tremendous amounts of change. And here we see Jupiter in Leo, in your 7th house, and then Pluto in Aquarius in your 1st house. So something is building here in the month of July. The rest of these aspects are all very favorable. Sextiles and trines are very favorable in astrology. And so they're pointing you in a completely new direction, and you're going to have to make some choices about what you want, about a current situation involving either a relationship or something of a partnership that is going to undergo a massive transformation in some way. The rest of these alignments, as you can see here, you could actually Google them if you like, or check it out in my Inner Circle community, but these are all favorable. This is the 3rd house. This is the 5th house. This is the 5th house. This is the 1st house. These are all suggesting I am a new person. I am reinventing myself. I am letting go of people that don't belong in my life anymore. That's what I'm seeing here. And then, of course, here is the North Node switching signs at the end of the month, July 27th, goes into Aquarius, the 1st house of identity and self. So many of you are going to be going, okay, I know I need to change. I'm doing this right now. And not to mention you have Pluto in that 1st house as well. So this is going to be a very powerful time for many of you, where you're taking back your power. You're starting to see what your purpose is. You're starting to take the initiative. Okay? This is a year where you don't dilly-dally anymore and overthink and overprocess information. This is a year for action. And I'm just giving you the time frames here, where July is a tremendous month for some sort of significant change in your life. So keep that in mind. But wait, there's more. We also have this. A solar eclipse on the 12th, which is going to be in Leo the Lion. That is again that 7th house. So talk about meeting new people or opportunities to meet new people. It's tremendous this year for many of you. So you're going to be meeting anyone and everything. This could be anything from meeting new kids or children that maybe somehow you're interacting with, or some new very powerful people in your life. And the doorways just continue to open for many of you in August as well. So this is an extremely powerful time. Now, of course, eclipses always come in pairs. So we have this one, the lunar eclipse, at the end of August on the 28th. This one is in Pisces. Now, this is the 2nd house of income and values. Once again, this has to do with investments. And so now you're questioning, did you put your money in the right place? Do I need to put my money in the right place? Am I done with this job or this business? I need to sell it off. whatever it is, it definitely has this feeling of letting go of something or someone or a situation that no longer serves you. So all throughout this year, it's you reinventing yourself, at the same time letting go of stuff that does not belong in your life anymore. That's what this eclipse is about, this lunar eclipse, okay? So keep that in mind. But September, not a whole lot to be overly concerned about. There may be some concerns about your job, and maybe you have a new one that you're really not too happy with, and that's in September. But when we get to October, we have a tricky one. Again, October the 3rd through November the 13th, Venus goes retrograde in Scorpio. That is your 10th house of career. So you may be going back to something that you've done before, or revisiting something or someone that you were involved in. So the doorway to the past opens up when Venus goes retrograde. And Venus represents partnerships, relationships, and value. But both Venus and Scorpio represent money or the material side of life. So here we see this connection to the past once again. So you'll be dealing with some sort of issue that involves the past around this time frame. All right? And so keep that in mind when you don't push anything too hard, because Venus retrogrades can be hard with relationships and money-making opportunities. So I would not advise doing any of those things under the retrograde here. But then, wait, there's more. A few days later, after the retrograde is ended, Mars conjuncts Jupiter in the sign of Leo, and this activates that 7th house again for connections and people and being around and creative endeavors. So you can see this is going to be an extremely creative year for many of you. Okay, if you play your cards right and just take the initiative, you will absolutely meet so many more people. You will be in a very creative mindset throughout the entire year. And so this is giving you a chance to move forward in a direction that you really want to go in. And I'm just showing you what the dates are and the time frames. So this looks really good. And the end of December, there's not a whole lot going on there. It's almost like a quieting energy coming down. And then we get ready for 2027. Anyway, there you have it. There's the general overview. If you want to know more, I do an extended version of this in my inner circle, as I've mentioned. But you could also sign up for my free newsletter, and there's a couple of places you could do that. First is astrologerjoe.com, and then you click on the newsletter. And there you also find the free mini moon reading, which I think you might appreciate. It's a very good moon reading. It's a third-party moon reading. And if you decide to buy the report, we get a little, kickback on it. It's not a big deal, but that would help to support this channel. Anyway, but you could also go to planetswithin.com and read my 2026 astrology overview. And of course, I'll have the horoscopes link there for each sign. But there, I also do a monthly blog. So just go onto that page and you'll see it there. Okay, so check that out. And here's the inner circle. As I've mentioned, there's a lot going on there. The members are really, very much enjoying it, interacting. I do weekly astrology overview there, extended horoscopes each month. I teach astrology. And every week we're on a Zoom call. And we've added another day also on Thursdays where we interact and we talk about current events. So there's a lot to do there, a lot of cool people. And so consider joining. There's a link down below. And of course, friends, I want you to remember something. As we go through this journey of life, always remember this. We are just spiritual beings in these physical containers having a human experience. That's what it comes down to, no matter how you slice it. Okay? So the good, the bad, doesn't matter. It's all part of the experience. All right? So always meditate on this, think about this, no matter what's happening, whether you're having a good time or not so good time. This is the most important thing that I could suggest to you. All right? So have a great year, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.